You're watching VNA News Bulletin. This is Vinh Hằng from Hanoi with the major stories.
Vietnam Culture Week kicks off in the Laos capital city of Vientiane. Vietnam attracts $13.3 billion in foreign direct investment in the first 8 months of this year. The number of foreign visitors to Vietnam bounces back after 30 months of decrease.
A Vietnam Culture Week has kicked off in the Laos capital city of Vientiane to celebrate the National Days of Vietnam and the host country. More in the following. Addressing the opening ceremony, Vietnamese Deputy Minister of Culture, Sports and Tourism Vương Duy Biên said the event helps promote cooperation in culture and tourism between Vietnam and Laos. It also improves mutual understanding and solidarity between the Vietnamese and Lao people and celebrates major anniversaries of the two countries. For its part, Lao Deputy Minister of Culture, Information and Tourism, Buông Nhan Sapuvong, lauded the significant role of the event in helping Lao nationals to gain a deeper understanding of Vietnam's country and people, while consolidating the special friendship between the two sides. The week will feature a photo exhibition portraying the cultural life of Vietnam's ethnic groups, the country's landscapes, sea and islands, and the special ties between Vietnam and Laos, alongside art performances by Vietnamese artists. Within the framework of the Vietnam-Japan Culture Exchange Festival, a workshop was held in the central city of Da Nang to promote the inflow of Japanese investment. More details coming up next.
Speaking at the event, Chief Representative of the Japan External Trade Organization, Asusuke Kawada, said 66% of the Japanese enterprises currently operating in Vietnam have plans to expand their operation in the country, a rate higher than in many nations. Japan was the largest investor in Vietnam in 2012 and 2013 in terms of capital. Although its investments dropped in 2014, the country still took the lead in a number of projects. Last year, Japan had 342 newly licensed projects, and the figure stood at 176 in the January-July period of 2015, Kawada noted. At present, the locality is calling for Japanese investments in a range of projects, including a high-tech park, an industrial zone for Japanese small and medium-sized enterprises, and a resort for Japanese older people.
Vietnam attracted over $13.3 billion in foreign direct investment in the first 8 months of this year, an annual increase of 13.4%, the Ministry of Planning and Investment has reported. In the reviewed period, the country has granted investment licenses to 1,290 newly registered projects, worth over $7.8 billion, up 8.7% in value. Some $5.46 billion was added to 389 existing projects, up 82.8% in value. According to the ministry, a total $8.5 billion of FDI has been disbursed since the beginning of 2015, a year-on-year rise of 7.6%. Foreign investors injected money into 17 sectors, with the majority of attention on industrial processing and manufacturing, real estate, and retail trade. Currently, the Republic of Korea is firmly leading among the 55 countries and territories investing in Vietnam, with combined newly registered and increased capital of $5.26 billion, accounting for 39.7% of the total investments in Vietnam. From January to August, overseas firms invested in 49 cities and provinces. The northern province of Bắc Ninh led the country in FDI attraction, with $3.33 billion, followed by Chi Minh City and southern Dong Nai province. The Red River Delta region was the most attractive to foreign investors, absorbing $5.68 billion, accounting for 42.6% of the country's total registered investment. In the period, foreign investment sector exports, including crude oil, were estimated at $74.6 billion, a year-on-year increase of 14.7%, and accounting for 7.2% of the total export turnover. Although Vietnam's export-import turnover reportedly increased 12.2% year-on-year to more than $200 billion from the beginning of this year to mid-August, it still suffered a trade surplus of $4 billion. Our reporter has the full story.
Accordingly, Vietnam earned $98 billion from its exports, up 8.8%, while spending $102 billion on imports, a surge of 15.6%. In the first half of August alone, the country's export-import value reached $13.46 billion, down 13.2% over the same period last month. Exports plummeted by 16.2% to nearly $6.7 billion. A number of key staples such as garment and textile products, telephones and components, and footwear saw the biggest drops. Similarly, the country's import revenues plunged 10% to over $6.7 billion. In the reviewed period, foreign invested enterprises witnessed drops in both exports and imports.
Moving on to other news, Chi Minh City is expected to have demand for an additional 23,000 full-time and 5,000 part-time employees. Our reporters will bring more details.
The Ho Chi Minh City Center for Forecasting Manpower Needs and Labor Market Information said employment opportunities are primarily for unskilled labor and graduates or postgraduates, accounting for 28% and 27% of the total vacancies respectively. The demand for technicians follows closely at 25%. It said manpower demand is concentrated in the garment, textiles, footwear and leather sectors and the real estate, logistics and sales industries. Experienced candidates will continue to be the target of the labor market. Gaps between manpower supply and demand are occurring in a range of sectors, including IT, garment, textiles, and logistics.
After 13 consecutive months of decline, the number of foreign visitors to Vietnam has bounced back since the beginning of July. It can be said that urgent measures and newly issued resolutions and policies have proved effective.
According to the General Statistics Office, Vietnam welcomed nearly 665,000 foreign holidaymakers in August, up 12% of the previous month. The figure represented a 7.5% increase against the same period last year. As a result, the total number of foreign tourists to Vietnam during the first 8 months of this year exceeded 5 million, down 7.5% from the same period of 2014. Markets witnessing the biggest increases in the number of visitors included the Republic of Korea, up 32.9%, Singapore 15.8%, Finland 12.2%, Spain 8.5%, Taiwan 6.8%, and the US 6.2%.
Visitors to the imperial city of Hue will be offered free entrance to some relic sites. This is one of Thừa Thiên Huế province activities to celebrate 70 years of the August Revolution and Independence Day. Accordingly, the Museum of History and Revolution, Lê Bà Đằng Art Center, and relic sites of the Hue Citadel are being opened free of charge to visitors from August 28 to September 2nd. The province will also organize many culture and sport activities, including the traditional boat racing on Huong River, an introduction of books on the August Revolution and Independence Day, and film screening in remote areas. Hue City has welcomed over 2.1 million visitors in the first 8 months of this year, up 3% against the same period last year. The result helped Thừa Thiên Hué's tourism sector earn 1.89 trillion dong, equivalent to $84 million, a rise of 4% over last year's period. In August alone, the city welcomed 235,000 visitors, including 75,600 foreigners. Especially, tourists going to the province by sea increased strongly. The province has just received 3,600 visitors on board a 5-star cruise. A graph of the Chiang Mai port is being upgraded, enabling it to receive more big cruises. The Central Province of Quảng Nam has publicized an antiquity recently recognized as a national treasure and some pieces of the national intangible cultural heritage.
The national treasure was Mukha Linga, a linga with the head of the Hindu god Shiva, discovered at the Misan Sanctuary in November of 2012. Dating back from the 7th to 8th century, it is a unique object of the ethnic Cham people and typical for the shape and symbolic meaning of a Mukha Linga. The item was recognized as a national treasure on January 13th this year. Also at the ceremony, the Quảng Nam Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism unveiled other pieces recently named as part of the National Intangible Cultural Heritage, the Tum Tum Za Za dancing and the brocade making of the Cơ Tu ethnic group, the Ba Choi singing, the Cô Ba Chợ Được procession ritual, the Ba Chao singing, and the erection of the nail pole, and the set of gu of the core ethnic people in Bắc Trà My district. Currently, Quảng Nam is also home to 300 provincial tangible cultural heritage and 60 national tangible cultural heritage pieces, including the Mỹ Sơn Sanctuary and the Hội An Ancient Town, listed as special national heritage.
The VNA News Agency Publishing House has issued a photo book featuring Vietnam's achievements during its establishment and development in the past 7 decades. Let's take a look.
With some 400 photos among a world of archive and artistic options, the book offers readers insight into the nation's history over the past 7 decades. The Vietnamese English book is structured around 3 main themes, focusing on an independent, liberal and reunified Vietnam. Vietnam in the era of peace, reform, integration and development, and a beautiful and culturally enriched Vietnam.
The publication was a substantial effort because our focus was able to readers to acknowledge the achievements the country has reaped in the past 70 years.
Significant attention was also dedicated to modern photos during the compilation. Of note, those featuring the historical visit to the US by Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng in July were selected to highlight Vietnam's efforts to enhance and expand its external relations. The conclusion of the book spotlights photos that depicts fishermen clinging to sea and soldiers protecting the country's sovereignty over sea and islands.
The photo book will be introduced into the National Public Library system. It will be distributed nationwide to localities, ministries and agencies for communal access.
The publication is part of a series of nationwide activities in celebration of the 70th anniversary of the August Revolution and the National Day. It helps inspire national pride in building and protecting the country and desires for peace.
And that has wrapped up our daily bulletin. Thank you for tuning in and goodbye for now.